Hey guys, my name is Mysca and welcome to Overwatch Central. Today I am going to be mainly looking at Sigma on the PTR. Actually, at least when I was recording this video. The patch might actually be going live tonight or next week on Tuesday. Those seem like the most likely sort of timings for that. If you don't remember the patch notes exactly, don't worry, I'll be covering at least the Sigma part soon. But just before that, Ryan and I are heading to EGX, a gaming convention in London. If you'll be there, then, well, make sure to come by. The Omen by HP booth will be running a show where you can win some really cool prizes just for playing on stage actually, and you will also be getting some nicer prizes if you manage to win. There's a giveaway as well. If you don't have a ticket to EGX, you can check the tweet in the description or top comment, retweet and follow that and have a chance to win one of the 2 duo tickets we're giving away. So you and a friend will be able to go to EGX. We'll be picking 2 winners that will be able to go with a friend, and we'll be DMing you on Twitter, so make sure to retweet and follow that stuff. Alright, let's get on with the video. Let's get into it. Sigma has been talked about a lot ever since it was put into the game, and it's been doing extremely well. If we take a look at Overbuff right now when I'm making this video, it's afternoon or nearly evening of the 8th of October, and Sigma is doing incredibly well amongst the tanks with a very high win rate. This is across the board on PC, but if you have a look at Grandmaster in particular as well, you can see just that incredible pick rate and win rate. So the character is very strong. But what exactly will the PTR changes do? This has been discussed a lot, but not actually really played and practiced a whole bunch. And the PTR is very dead right now. I had pretty much the only PTR game, the only custom game up, open to the public, and I tweeted out and just said that I was playing and put together a lobby of 12 people to try out some Sigma stuff. Before I'll tell you exactly how I kind of felt about that, these are the changes just real quick. You can pause the video here if you want to just go through this stuff before the rest of the video. So that's what we're looking at, and apart from those changes, I'll also link the full patch notes in the top comment here. And it might actually be that this patch is live when this video goes live, and I will put the patch notes in the top comment and make sure that I'll let you know if this patch is live or not when the video is up. So let's get into the more actual impressions. First off, Sigma and Orisa still seem to be very good, unfortunately in a way. It does make sense though, because this is not really a huge nerf to Sigma, and people were already a bit unsure how it would affect him. But honestly, playing Sigma and Orisa with these changes doesn't feel too different from the current thing. Maybe you have to stick a little bit closer to your Orisa because you can't rely on your own barrier as much, but honestly I did not really feel a difference in that type of synergy in particular, at least. Where Sigma did feel very different though, and this actually surprised me, was to begin with, the most at least, with the barrier regeneration rate. So it was reduced from 175 to 150, and it doesn't seem like that much on paper, but you can actually really feel it. It's funny because when you look at the Sigma changes, it just doesn't really jump out at you, but I would genuinely be moving my barrier around or bringing it back up after a bit, and almost always have it be more broken than I thought it would be. And this was very consistent. It's one of those things where you kind of move the barrier a bit less because you can't move it all the time, and because of that it's a bit more exposed and takes more damage as well. So obviously it's a bit of those changes together making for that experience. The recall time as well is the change that anyone playing Sigma will just feel straight away, of course. Currently you can just kind of spam the barrier out like mad. I'll try to compare it on screen, and it ends up being a little bit cheesy almost previously versus the changed version, which you just don't really move your barrier as much, I guess you could say. Previously you just could block flankers without any real cons, and now you have that 1 second for redeploying it obviously, and then another second for putting it back. So that's 2 seconds on top of obviously having to move it in the first place and dealing with it potentially being a bit more broken. So that is definitely noticeable as well. But again, due to Sigma Orisa being played together a lot, I didn't really feel like this affected me as much. The regeneration rate though was a pretty big deal, and I want to highlight as well, one thing in Overwatch that matters quite a bit is perceived meta, so what the community think the meta is versus what actually might be viable. In this case, a change like this can put a lot more focus on being able to spam the Sigma barrier, and all of a sudden, as more people take note of the changes, more people are shooting the barrier, and the barrier is also weaker, and that means that the character is just punished more as a result. So keep that in mind when playing, definitely. as it has to be a combined effort and a combined effect that actually knocks Sigma out of the game, at least temporarily. A bit more of an obvious one, the chain hook not being blocked by the suck ability for Sigma is also just a lot more balanced and makes a lot more sense, and you can kind of feel yourself getting punished with that in as well, and I'm not sure why it wasn't like this from the start. It just makes so much more sense to me, and I found myself forgetting about the change now, occasionally at least, but even if I didn't, it just means that you actually get punished for losing your barrier versus Hog, whilst before you wouldn't really be punished at all. When you die in Overwatch and you kind of feel like you know why, or you're like, why did I use that ability, or say that you get anti-nated as Hog and you're trying to heal anyway, but really someone on really low HP is in front of you slipping away. Those are the moments when you use an ability when you shouldn't have, and you either die or lose out on a kill for it. That's the sort of stuff that we need more of. That nuance is really important to keep, and I think this definitely has helped getting Sigma in that direction. Personally, I think Sigma and Orisa will still be very strong. I think you have to do more to be able to challenge those characters a bit. Ryan, Zarya and Winston D.Va just has to perform a bit better and just be a little bit easier to play for some ranks maybe. I'm not really sure what you can do there, but this doesn't really seem like enough to me, unfortunately. Either way, keep this in mind. Sigma can definitely be spammed. Spam the barrier, get him down, get him hooked, whatever. It is doable, and I hope this patch brings more focus to that. I think the idea that this patch would actually help dive counter the sort of double barrier thing by diving into or past it is almost a bit of a pipe dream. I don't know, like I really want to play dive as well, but this just doesn't really seem to be it, unfortunately. Dive can vary so much in performance depending on what rank you're at, because of difference in individual skill and communication, but also just general understanding of the game, and of course with a composition that's harder to play versus one that's fairly easy to play, it's gonna be a bit of a struggle. Moving on, just wrapping this video up, next week we might actually be getting the Halloween update, just FYI. Should be going live on that Tuesday. Makes sense as well, because it would line up with the Nintendo Switch release actually. And obviously since it didn't go live today, at least not when I'm making this video, unless they moved it to Thursday or much later tonight, they'll be putting that live then instead, most likely. So expect a skin video and all the other stuff. We're gonna get to find out if that leak about a Halloween version of Junkertown was real or not too. So just keep an eye out on the channel for that. Anyway, that's everything for today. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to enter that EGX giveaway if you wanna go to EGX. Again, Twitter link in the description or top comment, something like that. At OW Central on Twitter if you just wanna go to it manually. And that's everything. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.